Welcome back, my friends, to my second video on this April Fool's snapshot of the year 2023. I've got more secrets to show you and some that are even better than what we saw in the very first video. And if you haven't seen that one, you absolutely need to go back and watch it to get the full context of what exactly is going on here. But before any of that, there's something rather serious I would like to address. And yes, this is not the appropriate timing for showing you this really silly Easter egg. So let's get serious for a second. I want to address some of the negativity that I've seen in my comments, and it is a small amount, definitely a vocal minority. And the narrative being painted here is that Mojang are mocking us with this update. They're putting in things we actually want in the game and basically rubbing it into our faces. And it's kind of ridiculous if you stop and think about it for a second. An entire development studio of hundreds of people? What, they all just want to rub this in our faces and have agreed to create this snapshot to do so? Doesn't sound right to me. But anyways, I think I can shine a little light on this topic. Let's think of the base game as this block, and a modding platform like Fabric or Forge as a layer on top that allows you to just quickly throw anything into the game. And these things will probably work for most people, however they won't be fully supported like other Minecraft features. What's developed for the actual game needs to work across all of these different platforms on many different hardware configurations and consoles. And this vote update is more like a hastily thrown together bunch of mods that just sit on top of the base game. For example, the game was recently given the ability to make any entity rideable using a command. And being someone who covers the regular snapshots and pre-releases, I would see plenty of bugs following the introduction of this command related to edge cases where it didn't work as expected. If you stop for a moment to think about how many different entity combinations there actually are in this game, that's a lot of edge cases that might not work as expected. The point being that what we see in this update is not content that's developed to stand the test of time. As I showed in my first video on this April Fool's snapshot, the pickaxe block can break bedrock because it was hastily coded and not all edge cases were considered. So with all that said, perhaps we should take a moment to appreciate that Mojang actually take the time to put together something fun and wild like this for April Fools. They are definitely not trying to throw these features in our face. And yes, you're going to find out what exactly is going on with my limbs here in just a second, but first of all, another cheeky subscribe plug. Yes, the snapshots, the pre-releases and update videos are what I cover here on my channel, so if you want to make sure you don't miss these videos, hit that subscribe button. So, thank you for doing that, and what you're currently looking at is Flailing mode. This is a vote rule with a variety of different outputs. For example, we've now got mild flailing, and as you saw at the beginning of the video, we got windmill mode. This one is referred to as wild. And then we have limbs all over the place, which is just extreme. And this is all simply a reference to the very early days of Minecraft where Steve used to roam around the world, flailing his limbs all over the place. So I have many things to show you, but we're going to start by going back to the moon. This is because there are actually multiple ways to get there, and one of them involves unlocking air blocks. These air blocks are craftable with glass bottles, and with just 10 of them, you can take a cow on a ride to the moon. You just have to feed the cow, and each time it gets bigger, and when it reaches the 10th level, you'll then be riding the cow. And the cow might be spinning, like this one. And now you can see that the ascent has started. We are high up in the sky and making our way to the moon. Another way to get to the moon is with bee-loons. This one is super cute. You'll need to find 3 bees and leash them. You're going to start to drift up into the sky. It's certainly a slower way to the moon, but have you noticed how the Earth looks different this time? That's because of the world shape rule. As you can see, we've got a circular Earth here. And the 4th one is my absolute favourite. Yes, that is a giant teapot. Now, my friends, I really want a cup of tea. Now, last time we saw the moon in creative mode, and if you're in survival, you will need air to survive. As you can see, the bubble meter above the hunger is showing us this. And this is a feature that allows you to make airlocks of all things. If we go into this space here, we can deploy some packed air, which we get by crafting the air. And I showed you what this did last time, however now it creates an area inside of here in which we can breathe, and you can see like our little breath meter goes away. And with the Insta-Cheese rule, you'll be able to place cheese blocks from a bucket of milk like so. And do you remember this old thing? This animation is apparently not hard-coded into the game, which leads me to suspect everything you're seeing might be possible with a data pack using the new display entity features and whatnot. It's super cool, but there's a secret here that I missed. There are green shulker boxes. These have even better supplies inside of them. And if you want to come here in survival, they're going to be super useful. And as I suspected, the loot tables of these chests are designed to allow you to recreate many of the different farms that you would create in the overworld. So if you legitimately want to play on the moon and do all the Minecrafty things that you do in the overworld, it's all possible. You can also die on the moon if you run out of air, and you'll get this fancy death message. And when back in the overworld, if you miss the moon's gravity, there is a rule called less gravity that swaps the gravity of the overworld and the moon. There's also a rule that makes the moon really big in the overworld, and its gravity is pulling me in. And look at this, its pull has now gotten a little bit stronger. And you actually get pulled towards it, which is an interesting way to get to the moon as well. Oh, and now we're getting pulled in this direction. Oh, and this is what it's like when it's set to its maximum size. Because I was in creative mode, you might not realise that the pull is not me flying around in creative. Look, I'm in survival. This next one is wild, and it's for all the redstoners out there. Let me introduce to you what's known as Chainstone. Although to get access to this, the rule is simply called Sticky. And this, my friends, is simply a mod idea introduced by Nembomb over 2 years ago, and he called it Chainstone, which is a really cool name. Now that Nembomb is a developer at Mojang, it's no surprise to see this one in here, but it's a beautiful surprise. First of all, let's just go over how slime blocks work. Wait, am I going mad? Why are these two like connecting like that? Like I said at the beginning of this video, this stuff is just thrown in and it'll have all sorts of bugs and quirks. Anyways, I wanted to demonstrate how honey and slime blocks stick to other blocks and how they don't stick to each other. But chains, the key ingredient of Chainstone, can do the same thing, except the key difference here is that it doesn't stick to what's on the side of it. So it can move the block attached at the end, but not the one on the side of it. And like slime blocks, this stuff can connect round corners too, if used with the correct blocks. And again, it's not attaching to the sides of this block up here. Another example is that we have a block below that doesn't get stuck because the edges of the chain are on either side. And yeah, there's definitely some like quirkiness here. I think something also changed with the sticky pistons. Oh yeah, look at this, here we go. Their stickiness is now properly sticky. Interesting, so there was that additional change too. And when I set this up in the beginning, I didn't actually have Chainstone enabled yet, which explains why that behaved differently. So it wasn't a bug after all. Anyways, Chainstone is absolutely amazing, and if you're a redstoner doing advanced stuff, you'll probably come up with endless ideas to use this for. It's a very powerful feature. Now I wanted to show you 3 interesting things from the Minecraft Reddit community, and since we're on the topic of redstone, this would be a great place to start, using some of the things that are now possible in this update. Someone has created a fully functional tunnel bore that collects drops, places torches, and a bridge wherever it goes. This, my friends, is a very satisfying contraption that takes advantage of that new pickaxe block, and I think the place block too, of course. That's how the torches and the spruce blocks are getting placed. So yeah, shout out to Made a Minecraft Tunnel. I think they might have made that account just for this video. Oh, and a little bit of further information here. They didn't increase the push limit or use the movable block entities rule. This next showcase is from Mackie Chess, and it's a building made entirely out of cheese blocks, which just looks fantastic. I really hope they find a way to bring this block into the game, maybe with a different texture, because it's really cool. And last of all, credit to Mum I Can't Pause Reddit for sharing this amazing discovery. Any entity can have another mob's AI. So this boat has the AI of another entity. And I believe in that video the mob was actually a horse, but these ones are chickens. Oh yeah, look at that, chicken clucks. The way this command works is that you first of all summon the entity you want it to be, and then with this big tag right here, it's at the end that you select the entity you want it to appear as. Honestly, what did you think I was going to do? Of course it's going to be a wither. And when we swap those around, we've now got a mental chicken going around wrecking the place. Now, I could spend all day coming up with funny combinations, but what I want you to do is comment down below and let me know what you think each of these are. Okay, this one's a bit too obvious, isn't it? You know exactly what these are. This one is definitely a little bit more tricky. I assure you, these are not regular drowns. Alright, there's a clue here. Can you figure it out? What mob is that Ender Dragon? These ain't no normal Ravengers, my friends. No, they are not. Well, you probably already know, but now you definitely know. And if I continue to goof around with this, the video's never going to get finished. Let's now move on to some other interesting rules. You know about this little Easter egg, right? Usually reserved for these fellas. Oh, but it's different. And this time it'll work on anything, although it's not quite as delightful, is it? What about a bee? Uh-huh. What about a ghast? A disco ghast? Maybe even a disco ball? Or should I say cube? We're playing Minecraft. What about an armor stand? Yep, I think you get the point by now. For this next one, I'm very so glad that I am in creative mode. Boat collisions are a thing and they cause explosions. I think this is a reference to a very long time ago where boats in Minecraft were very finicky and could break very easily. There is also rowing up that hill, allowing boats to ascend walls. But just how tall of a wall, you might wonder? Let's find out. Oh, apparently this tall. How about a real test? 100 blocks. Just like that, we're now at the top. There is also Dream Mode, which applies this bloom to the world. It's very subtle, but when I tap F4, it causes this bizarre flickering. I think that is subtly increasing the bloom effect here. But Dream Mode is also reported to do all of these things too. Increasing the loot from piglin bartering, stopping lightning from striking a player, multiplying the player's luck attribute, doubling the effectiveness of enchantments, and decreasing the phantom spawn frequency. If all of that is true, then it seems like this is a reference to Dream's speedrun controversy, which I won't get into, but that seems to be what they're referring to with this mode. I would just like to clarify that I am definitely not sleeping in a bed right now. In fact, I think the beds are moving. Yeah, the beds are alive. No, they're actually just banners. There's a rule to turn banners into beds. And there's also a rule to swap how they work. So, like, I can't get in the bed, but I can if it's daytime. It will let me sleep now. And look at that. It advances the time to nighttime. Now for a couple of rather evil and mischievous rules. What if lava could spread of its own free will? It just keeps spreading and spreading. It's actually just spreading into more lava source blocks. I might need to leave the area. This is probably going to slowly cause a lot of lag. Oh god, I've literally created a lava lake. So I now have the evil eyes, which unfortunately don't make my eyes red. That would have been a cool detail. But in survival mode, your reach extends as far as you like into the distance, and you can instantly break any type of block. This includes entities too. I'm looking at you, cow. Oh, goodbye. Yep. I can go around interacting with things at any distance. Want to chop down this tree? I can do it right here. Oh my god, look at that tree over there. It's getting absolutely wrecked. Players are undead. Yep, this one's evil too, but not quite like before. I don't want to be out in the sunlight. I need to find some shade. Yeah, this one essentially makes the player like an undead mob, which would actually make for a really interesting survival challenge. Applied a world of giants. This simply makes every entity in the world really big. And it definitely looks rather amusing. Look at these sheep hanging out. They're like as big as the trees. Oh my god, look at the Enderman. Oh dear, there's more lava nearby, but luckily there is a fire sponge rule, which makes sponges work like they do with water against lava. And now for some explosive changes. There's a rule called TNT Tennis that allows an ignited TNT to interact with the knockback effect. So you can play TNT Tennis with your friends. This next one is called Exploding Phantoms. Oh, they explode on contact. Good thing I have my cheaty resist effect. And last of all, Flint Sploder will allow you to ignite any block. Yep, any block can be ignited, as you're seeing right here. Oh my god, giant chicken. Oh, it works on bedrock. It works on bedrock. Applied, move like a Morrowind power gamer. Yes, these next ones will make you rather OP. Oh my goodness me, look at that animation. Jeez, oh, I'm over here now. And what about fishing, eh? Well, there's a rule to buff fishing. And personally, I think this is a reference to the old AFK fishing farms, which I am known of for my tutorials on how to build these. Also, this seems to set you on fire if you're on land, for being so cheaty. Now it gets worse because you can fish anything. And now it's just giving me random items every single time. I mean, my inventory's already full of fishing junk. Yeah, obviously these ones are very silly. There is a rule that makes bees glow and give them this delightful particle effect. And now for a few things that I've already shown you, but details that I missed in the last video. The place block can actually pull from a container behind it. The Midas touch that I showed you also works on entities when you collide with them. But I guess I've got to be quick about this. Let's get a warden. Let's turn it into a golden warden. And then a classic creeper is now a golden creeper. Now, I didn't actually show you this bottle of void, but we saw some of the things that it creates when you right click onto an entity. It gives you a bottle of creeper like you've seen before. You can then become the creeper entity. It seems to have remembered it was golden. And if you want to return to normal, just drink another one. And there you go. And also, the tail that you see right here has a secret. The type of tail you have as a player comes from your UUID, and that UUID then refers to the leg of a mob in the game, and I think I might be the zombie horse. Last of all, let's talk about the Aether Dimension. This was created a long time ago by King B-Dogs, who is now a developer over at Minecraft. And for the longest time, people have tried to create this portal in the game with no luck. There is now a rule to fix this. And once enabled, can you go to the Aether? Well, you might remember in my video we had some trouble, but now that we got the full portal, let's go through and we get teleported up to the top again. So yes, error 404, terrain not found. That's actually a joke. I completely misunderstood it and thought that I'd encountered an actual error. So the dealio here is that it's just a reference to the Aether and a fun little joke. But here's a question. Do you think they should add the Aether mod to Minecraft? Anyways, that's the end of the video from me. So if you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and I'll see you soon in the week, hopefully, with another Snapshot video.